Being lonely in medical college is very easy.
What was the inspiration?
So in the second year of MBBS, my mom went into a fairly bad accident and she was very serious, and I used to visit her daily and see her on ventilator. I have felt a lot of depression.
How do you think people can manage?
You have got something called as a popcorn brain. So you develop a popcorn brain where you cannot concentrate for even maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I have not gone out on Saturday, Sunday for years.
How is success determined?
My mom didn't talk to me for 1.5 months. I choose it. Why? Because I was ranked 2 here in Gujarat.
What is something that you would like to share from your story of failures, which is very personal to you?
I'll put it first straight away important thing. In medicine, there is no shortcut. I missed by 0.7 marks. I missed by 0.5 marks. I came second 2 times.
They would tell 4 of their relatives that why doctor called me.
If you have not read science well, what they are speaking, you will not be able to even understand.
Today we have a special guest on the podcast. He has been my mentor over the past few years now, and it's crazy that we met on a football field and things have worked out in a lot of directions for me. Because of him I got the opportunity to work at Zydus Hospital, which is like the biggest hospital of Gujarat, and he is the chief of Paediatrics department over there, and he is the best doctor for children, and he has done his DM from PGI Chandigarh, so he has those boastful rights about it. And we have here Dr. Ankit Mehta with us today. Dr. Mehta, if you want to introduce yourself and say a few things.
So hi Adi. It's been long that it was due, and I am really thankful to you that you asked me to come over this. And to introduce myself, my name is Dr. Ankit Mehta. So obviously you have introduced me that I am a pediatric doctor. I am a pediatrician. But just to add to what I have done, I have completed my MBBS from NHL Municipal Medical College. And then I did MD from NHL Municipal Medical College again, which is a VS hospital, very famous hospital. And then I went to PGI, where I did 3 years of senior residency, which was a complete senior residency of 3 years. Then along with that 3 years of senior residency, I got an opportunity to do a fellowship in critical care over there, which was an Indian Academy of Pediatrics fellowship. So that was done in the pediatric ICU of PGI itself. And that led to a fond memory, which obviously you told that we can boast about, is that I was the first person in Gujarat to do a DM in pediatric critical care. And I'm still the only person, because obviously it's a long course. And finally, after 15.5 years, I could finish all this and come back to our roots, and have been working in Zydus Hospital for last 7 years as an pediatric intensivist and pediatric doctor. And have been leading the team for almost last 7 years. Yes.
That is amazing, Ankit bhai, that you have spent around 15 to 16 years, and that is of hardcore training. But how? Like, tell us about your life in MBBS. How was it? Then, did you plan everything when you were in MBBS, or how did things unfold for you?
So it's a rightful question when you look back, that how did you do this? If given an option, will you do it again or not? So just to begin with it, and just to give you a brief, that I read in a hostel and a boarding school from class 3 to class 11. And fortunately or unfortunately, there used to be no student who will read a lot. And they were all predominantly players of table tennis, maybe polo. They were all basketball players, because most of them were Rajputs and they were really good at sports. So there was no background of studying, but both of my parents are doctors. And so after maybe 10th, 11th, I was always a good student, probably a bright student in the class. And I realized that it's time to pull on the socks, because at that time there used to be an all India exam only if you want to go into the medical sciences. So after studying 12th, I went to Kota. I did 1 year, and then I was fortunate enough to get into a NHL Municipal Medical College, because Gujarat is a good place to learn. Everybody knew, because there were two things. There are sincere students in VS Hospital, we all know. It has been the fortune of VS Hospital that they have always produced bright students. And there was an extra advantage at that time, that you could go into the MD without giving an exam, because at that time there used to be a no postgraduate exam to enter into it.
Okay.
But
All right.
what happened was, at my time the postgraduate exam started, which was the post graduation pre-test or whatever university exam. After clearing MBBS, you have to give an exam. And again, like, so you asked me what made you do all this. So in the second year of MBBS, my mom went into a fairly bad accident, and she was very serious, and I used to visit her daily and see her on ventilator. And what I realized is, man, we are not doing a joke. This is a very big thing. We are dealing with people's life, and if we have to study, we really need to study hard. Because now, like, once you are dealing with a life, I think every bit of knowledge will be very, very helpful in whatever aspect you can gain, in whatever field you can gain in medicine, because you don't know what you are going to do. So by the end of MBBS, I was sure that I have to do really good things. And I was fortunate that I could study and get into the, again, pediatrics. It was my branch. I choose it. Why? Because I was ranked 2 here in Gujarat. So they were in a university exam, overall rank was general rank 5. And in the postgraduate pre-test, which was the first time happening in Gujarat, I came rank 2. So I was getting every single seat, including radiology. But I chose pediatrics. And for pediatrics, why? Because I thought treating kids will be amazing. Because at such young age, if you save a child, you will give him at least 40, 50, 60 years of life. So if you can just, you can pull off a 60, 70-year-old, I am not denying. And they also have future ahead. But in fact, what fascinated me was that kids are the future. So that fascinated me.
That is a very interesting way of looking at things. I never thought about it in this way, that you are giving and working for, like, on the outcome of children, and you can, by being a pediatrician, it's really important. That's true. And 40, 50 years, that's insane.
And
that's
just one thing, my mom didn't talk to me for 1.5 months because I chose pediatrics. She wanted me to do MD medicine, maybe a cardiologist or a nephrologist or a neurologist. She was quite upset, but she is a gynecologist herself. But I was sure that I'll do pediatrics. Unfortunately, at the end of MD, we never realized that pediatrics is not an end branch. Here in Gujarat, there was no culture of super specialty at that time. And then as I went to AIMS first time in my life, All India Institute in Delhi, I realized that there are a lot of branches. And there I knew about PGI Chandigarh. That the PGI Chandigarh is probably the epitome or Makkah of pediatrics in the world, because it has one of the largest pediatric emergency. It has one of the largest pediatric admissions in the Asian population. So I think that made me sure that probably if you want to do something, we have to do. So that insight came from inside. And fortunately or unfortunately, my mom did MD in 1983. My father did MD in 1984. And my father-in-law completed his MD in 1979. So doing an MD, we all feel, oh, it's great. But they told, beta, it's nothing. So let's keep moving and guide me. Like, you should go for the further studies. They told it's up to you what you have to study. But the best part will be that you have to study hard. Like, it's just the starting of your life. MD is nothing.
That's correct. Fair.
And if just putting in a perspective, if you want to do medicine for 40 years, I think reading extra 3-4 years is nothing. Because if you really want to do practice medicine, that will be for 40 years. Suppose I start at 30, I'll be doing till 70. Like, to do something for 40 years, I think you need to really invest some time in it.
But I think that is the real truth, that our field is a field where we always keep on learning as time moves on, because the training is just for 3 years, and then you get, like, you are responsible for all the life that comes at your disposal. And I think that is why our field values white hair more than black hair, and which is what makes it special, and we need to keep growing in this field. But now, going back, I had this question that I see that you come from a family of doctors, so you probably had more insights into how things work. But how did you make decisions that after doing it at NHL, you wanted to go at AIMS or you wanted to go at PGI Chandigarh? So what was the inspiration for that?
So the first inspiration was that, in MBBS, I couldn't get selected for AIMS. I got selected for AFMC Pune, but obviously I didn't wanted to join that. So my main part was that I have to study in a central institute. I was always fascinated with IITs and IIMs. So I thought that if there has to be something bigger than IIT or IIM, will be an AIMS or a PGI in our
That
field,
is fair.
or maybe a Jipmer Pondicherry or a CMC, correct, Vellore. So I always wanted to be in a central institute. So I always felt incomplete that probably my studies are still not over. We need to go to something better than what we
That
have
is
done
fair.
right now.
So you are always
And
have.
correct, not everybody gets an opportunity, but we can
No, no,
always try.
definitely. I think we deserve a chance to try at least. But I see that as much passion you have on the medical field, you are equally passionate about it when it comes to sports.
Correct.
I have played football with you. I've played this pickleball with you. I've been on so many runs with you, and you are the one who never, gets tired. You always generate energy from yourself. Like, you run more than I do at this age, and you are at least 10, 12 years older than me. But how? Like, how are you so much passionate in different areas? You've been working and you've studied and you've always scored well. So I always have this thought, and so many parents also, that if you are good, you have to be, if you want to be good at studies, you have to not focus on different areas like sports or different hobbies that people pursue. How did you balance the both of them, and how do you think people today can utilize both the things for the getting the best of both the worlds?
I think that's the best question of the lot, because that's the most important question, because we talk a lot about balance right now in life, okay? And I'll put it first straight away. Important thing in medicine, there is no shortcut. So everybody should read daily, probably. Once you are a student, at least for 2 to 3 hours a day. Once you are sure that you have read for 3 4 hours a day, I can bet you that you can take out 1.5 hour for whatever gym, whatever exercise, whatever friendships you have, or you want to go out, enjoy. I think it's fair deal. And many of my seniors, I've seen fewer seniors that they have also read on a Diwali day or an holy day. So they were all my inspiration. That if you read daily and you are prepared, just to be really like saying you in that part, that for an exam I was always prepared before 2 days or 3 days. I never rushed on the last day. So like your preparation has to be complete, so then you can have a lot of time every single day, and you can definitely make a lot of you can do a lot of things according to me. So playing a sport should be mandatory to everyone, or keeping physical activity, because once you invest 8, 8, 9 years in reading and you don't take care of your physical activity, I think physical activity will always improve your mental strength also. So as you told that, I think being physically active keeps you mentally balanced also in some way. May not be in perfect manner, but definitely helps you in doing that thing. Yeah.
Hmm.
So that
No,
that
that
keeps
is fair.
me like going. So that's why I always run with you. Even when you were working in Zydus, we both used to do work in the run in the morning, and maybe work at least 10, 11 hours a day, and then maybe take calls in the night and again be ready on the morning. Yeah. You always get pains and aches. You will have a lot of like from inside. You'll always feel let's not do it. But I think it's fair to do it, because at the end of the day, that results will help you grow better. So according to me, if you are well prepared in short for every single day, planning it in a better manner, then it will keep you happy. Because just to give you an insight, everybody used to read Davidson in medical college for medicine in MBBS, correct? But few of my seniors told that if you want to crack a big exam, you should read Harrison. So we brought Harrison, we completed it in 4 months, whatever maximum we could. Okay, like we'll read cardiovascular, we'll read respiratory, we'll complete endocrine, we'll leave rheumatology, maybe we'll read gynecology, we'll leave the gynecology part, but most of the important things we'll read from that book. And that really helps. Everybody used to read Sembulingam, and many of the people used to read, but we always read Guyton and Ganong, and I can tell you that is very, very helpful. So there is no shortcut here. Right? And still at this age, there is no shortcut. You have to read, and if you look at things, you will never remember. So always you will have to recapitulate. So you have to be ready for all those things. So there is no going away from the fact that you continue reading till probably you die in medicine if you want to be a good doctor. Yes. And in the
Of
force
course.
in the current era of artificial intelligence, with a lot of Google available, lot of things available, and even parents read a lot and they have so much information from Instagram, WhatsApp. I think we need to be on top of our subject so that we can calm them down, not to argue with them but to calm them down. Correct? They have their share of arguing with you, but I think the best thing is that you tell them the facts, because you are the person who has read for 15 years, so you can make them understand this Google better. Correct? Because Google age is never now going to go back.
No, I think it's going to increase more and more in coming.
Correct. So as you told, I think for that way, physical and mental strength has to be really good. Yeah, because your sessions can be really long. They can ask you a lot of things, and I think we need to answer them in a proper manner. Otherwise, they'll keep searching for them the answers. Yes, and every Google answer is not correct. Just to tell people, yeah, even people in MBBS nowadays do Google. I think that's not the right way to do it.
Yeah.
Yes, even the people who are studying MBBS, I think there is a way. There are classes how you read the things. Where do you identify? Where do you put all those things? Correct. Yeah, we can't Google as an MBBS or a MD student.
That is fair. Also, we cannot ask AI the questions all the time.
Correct.
Because I feel that if we are asking AI the questions, then like what is our use? Anyone can ask AI the
Yes.
question.
Exactly what you told me. So
Yeah.
if you have to go, just for an example, if I have to read, I think I'll take the first of all the standard textbook if I have not read from that. Maybe even if it is written 4 years back, 5 years back, the basics never change. Okay.
That is fair.
Then there can be hypothesis, there can be new pathophysiology, there can be new drugs. Then you can read from wherever source you have in your library, or many of the now the hospitals have up to date access. They have access medicine. They have clinical key. They have so many things to do. Correct?
Yeah.
Yes. That's an altogether different topic, but definitely we should not Google or do AI, at least as a basic doctor.
No, that is definitely fair. But now also there is this, you mentioned about all these things that we have to read these books which are actually very lengthy. It is a time consuming process. But now in current times, to be very honest, in the times of reels, our attention spans have gone massively down, and the patience of sitting and reading through a book has somewhere been lost. Like, it is really difficult. How do you think people can manage and keep their focus and sit?
So probably you are asking like a difficult question, even for me now, that every 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you might have an itch to see your phone, or maybe just on the screen, and maybe just check what is coming. Is there an email or is there a WhatsApp message?
Yeah.
So first of all, I think we need to keep a check on those social medias, that do we really need to use it so frequently? Because as a student, there is no doubt that there should be an off time from screen. There's no doubt. Like even if you are an MBBS student, you should just do it, because I think you must have recently studied a lot of studies which they tell that there are a lot of functional changes which happens with use of screen, and that really reduces your attention span, and you have got something called as a popcorn brain. So you develop a popcorn brain where you cannot concentrate for even maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and the things keep on coming in your mind. So I think that's a fair question, but you yourself are probably a neuro student and you are also looking into this. But my advice will be, let's take away the screen time, put more physical activity, and ensure that, as I told you, that 2 hours of library or 2 hours of maybe a D&D on a phone. And if you are not on the duty as a medical resident, I think it's fair that you go in a secluded place like a library and study where nobody comes and maybe disturbs you, because there are few topics which are really tough to understand. One go you may not be able to understand, and probably you need to dig into more into it. And these are common problems. Even if you are an eye doctor, your family can ask you a cardiovascular question, and they can ask you a orthopedic question. I think at least you should have some basic knowledge. You may not be able to guide them immediately completely, but at least basic knowledge is warranted by for everyone. So it warrants a lot of attention and reading. Yes. So in this era, I think we should go back to that what I was in 2000. We had no TV, no phones. So probably you have to study and just keep studying. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the thing, that it is with along with time it is getting difficult for the students as well, and with so much access available,
Yes.
it's a lot. But I think that we have to push through it.
I think there are a lot of things which are available on YouTube also, and there are a lot of
Yeah.
lectures available, and I think that also creates a lot of maybe it's like a small thing that I can see the video and completely learn. I will always advise that videos can just be helpful if you have learned it in a right manner. Suppose I have read it from the book, a standard textbook, and if I then listen to you, probably I'll be able to understand it better. Suppose there is a
Yeah.
podcast from Peter Attia or there is a podcast from Huberman. If you have not read science well, what they are speaking, you will not be able to even understand for a normal layman.
That is fair.
Correct. So if our basics are not right, I think that's the problem. So seeing a video, seeing that's why Googling and seeing a video can be really disruptive. Yes. You may get a wrong information. Yes.
That is fair. It's so much misinformation is floating out there. We don't even know which source to trust in these
Yes.
times. That is definitely true. But yeah, so there is this. I think as a generation, we have been lacking one thing, and that is patience.
Yeah.
And I see that you were very patient, and you have patiently waited for this day where I also want to discuss that once you are done with PGI Chandigarh, now you are feeling at your peak, right? That now I'm done with my DM, MD, everything. Then you come here to Zydus in Ahmedabad. How does things start again for you? Do you start from Mount Everest peak, or you come back down? I really want to know.
So I'll take it in two parts. First, you told me to be patient. So I was patient in my post MD period
Okay.
because there was only a single seat in the country when I used to appear in critical care. Okay, that
Okay.
was okay. So there was a single critical care seat for DM in pediatrics in 2014. Okay, so I appeared in 2013 twice and then 2014. So just talking about patients, I missed by zero point 0.7 marks, I missed by zero point 0.5 marks. I came second two times, but I couldn't then get
Oh,
the seat. Okay, but it didn't dishearten me, and there is always a luck on your side. So that was my last chance because I was completing my SRship of 3 years and I was thinking to come back. We have already sent all our stuff back home from Chandigarh to Ahmedabad to shift. And one of my dear friends told me, Ankit, let's give this exam last time. I know you are not keen, but let's try it. And I gave that exam and I came first. So it took me a
okay.
lot of patience. I waited for this seat for 3 or 3.5 years. Okay, there are
And you were married, and you
yeah,
had
I had a son
Nimhan
also.
by that time,
Yes,
right? Oh,
so I
that's
was married.
insane.
So I was married in 2009 when I was a first year MT student. Okay, so always remember that the thing should continue in life. There is never a right period for anything. Okay, so if you find a right match, if you find right people, I think it's better to do whatever like has to happen because studies are never going to end immediately. In your, if you are going to do a super specialist, okay, so that was one patient thing, and I will always appreciate my wife and my son's patience because I studied after marriage 8 years. Okay, nobody will allow that. Okay, 2 years of MD, 3 years of SRship, then 3 years of DM. Yeah, so that was a lot, right? So other thing is you told that after doing a DM, obviously you will feel that you have done what amazing things, and everybody in the world will come and hug you and tell, man, what you have done. This is the best thing you have done, and but I was fortunate enough that Zydus understood what is pediatric critical care. They took me definitely, but I had to start here from a scratch. They had a beautiful pediatric ICU infrastructure, but there were no protocols set. There were no people who were very well trained. So we have come from starting the institute to now being probably the good institute, like where we have a lot of facilities for kids. So it was starting from scratch. Nobody knew me in Ahmedabad, and obviously patients have to come. Then only you can treat. So once people know you, then only patients come. So I was fortunate only after COVID period. You know that we used to discuss that there are a lot of less patients. I used to see daily 100 patients in PGI, and when I came back here, I used to wait that when will the patient come. Okay,
That's
Correct?
so
Yeah,
crazy.
correct. So in pediatric emergency in PGI, you will get at least 40, 50 admissions in a day. At least 40, 50. Not telling whatever I want to. It's the fact. So they admit a lot of kids. And here inside us, obviously it's a big corporate hospital. Not everybody can come. You will have to wait for the turn. Here monthly 15, 20 admissions will come. Correct? So that's nothing. So by from that time I have come to this period, and after COVID definitely we have grown. So it's not that you have done something great and you will be like barged about ki, wow, what a doctor has come. You will start from scratch whatever degree you do. You have to be again patient. It's a very very tough period. I have felt a lot of depression. That's why you told me sports helps you keep like maybe grounded. I have played a lot of table tennis. I have played a lot of pickleball. I have played a lot of other things. Every game you
Yeah.
tell on the earth, and I have played because that helped me mentally to be really stable. Correct. And I've been fortunate enough to have three, four friends, but those friends have been really helpful. So that because it's a tough period, even post MD, post EM, you feel wow, we have won the world, but it is nothing. You start from maybe Patal Lok. Yeah, you start really. Yeah. So yeah, it's a tough time. And being a doctor, I think in India you might have to wait for your turn for 3 to 5 years, even after MD. So even if being the best in the like in form of studies, it requires a lot of other things to be a able and a good doctor for the society. That's a real fact. Yes, है ना? What and for layman, MBBS, MD, DM doesn't matter. We can discuss after what matters, but for them, degree doesn't matter. For them, even a good homeopathic doctor may be a very good doctor for them, and even a good Ayurvedic doctor can be good for them. Okay, so
That is true.
it is not that we have done something great. So that people have to understand that doing such big degrees or maybe coming from an institute, it may matter to maybe multinational companies who want to pick up from IITs or maybe from IIMs. For us, it doesn't matter. Correct? Yeah, that's a very big thing. Okay. That's a major change. That's a major thing in doctors. Yeah, that you feel that you have done, and as you told, the biggest thing, you are on your own, man. After 3 4 years you are on your own to take even single decisions. It takes a lot of guts to take those decisions. Yeah. Lot of guts. For that you have to study and you have to be really thorough in what you have done. Otherwise you can be in really difficult times when you are treating patients. Yeah. Correct.
That's true.
Sometimes you can make mess of it. Correct. So I think everybody should understand that once you are dealing with life or maybe whatever thing, for us again life, because I am a pediatric emergency and ICU doctor, but even for anything, for an ophthalmologist, for an ENT, you really need to know what you are doing. Yes. And especially in the era where you have already been in US, there can be a lot of things from parents. Maybe for the hospital they can sue you, and the same things now apply to us also. Yes, है ना? So gone are those days कि हाँ हाँ डॉक्टर जो करते हो सब सच करते हैं. ऐसा सच बात नहीं है. You have to be really thorough. You have to be really thorough to hear that कि doctor you have done the best. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, that is fair. I mean, but it is also a learning curve. I see our profession as a learning curve as well. Like, I don't think anyone or any person is cannot not make mistakes or is always perfect.
Correct.
I mean, everyone is bound to make mistakes, and making mistakes is a part of being a human being. But some of our mistakes are really fatal to lives of people, which is why it is high stress. But I mean, we all learn, and it is a journey. I think no
So
one is
that's why
ready in a day.
that's why what you told, that even if you make a mistake, I think mistake should never be repeated again.
Yeah.
If mistakes are repeated again and again, that is called as negligence, according to me.
Fair.
And there is a difference between mistakes and complications. Complications happens because of disease, because of treatment, many other things. But I think the most important thing which remains is how you deal with the patient, how you talk to them, are you available or not, how you have communicated to them. I think that matters a lot. Correct. As you told,
Yeah.
I think nobody can be perfect. If he tells he is perfect, then I think he is lying. And I believe that out of 10 kids, if I see, maybe I am only right in 6 patients, but definitely I ensure that I am following them up very, very keenly and nicely from my side so that we don't miss anything. है ना? Yes. So it's a taxing job. Every single patient, I have a data, and we message them again and again. We ask them that how are you feeling? How's the health? I make a note of it every single day that these are the two patients in my OPD who are not looking well, but we have not admitted. If they don't come back, they can become serious. So we have to ensure that we ask them that how are they feeling next day. Okay, that is done by nurses in many institutes. That is in India, there is no system. So if you want to develop a system, you have a big team or you have to do it by yourself. So once you want to grow, you have to go into such minute details. ठीक है ना, देख लिया पेशेंट, भेज दिया दवाई लिख के, अब जो होगा होगा, ऐसा नहीं होता है. So you have to follow them up very keenly if you want to be a really good doctor, because that's a learning for you also. Correct, है ना?
But how did you develop this system back? Like what kind of a support staff do you have who follows up?
So I have no support staff, unfortunately, till now. But that is what I learned in Boston. So when I went to Boston Children's Hospital for 6 weeks, there I was in a cardiac ICU, and I saw a lot of things which were happening there back in 2017, and which were really good. So I took out few of the notes, and I understood that if you want to be learning, there have to be new systems. So in India, I developed for myself that I pass on my number, which is allowed in our country, and they take your number because you are their pediatrician for 10 years, 14 years. So they will always have trust for you. So, and I also know what they are doing. So we pass on messages, and obviously, though not allowed, but we can do it on iMessage, we can do it on mail, sometimes on WhatsApp if they are regular patients. You never advise them, but I am following them up. I am not advising them that you take this treatment. I am just asking that how are you feeling, Aditya, today? Suppose you had a very bad flu, you were having some breathing problems. I have already checked you. I can ask you next day, how are you feeling? Okay, that keeps the patient's trust, and I think there is always a learning, and you can identify them really early. What is fortunate is if you identify patients who are getting sick really early, I think you can prevent the sad part, which is going into ICU or maybe death. But there will always be death. Nobody can prevent every death. But if you identify them early, that's what I told you, the complications can be less. They can come early to the hospital and get treated. So I developed by myself, and that is approach everybody has to go, that what approach they have need to develop. That is what you have to improvise. Okay, nobody will teach you all these things, that you have to see by yourself. Many doctors may be having nurses, maybe having a secretary, or maybe a other doctor, junior doctor. That's what you need to develop. But I think you need to.
I think that was the system with, I think Dr. VN Shah does the same. They have this two people who helps him out.
So लोग बोलते हैं ना,
people,
some of the people tell artificial intelligence आ जाएगी, सब हो जाएगा. मतलब those emotions cannot be taken away from us. So a patient when listens to a doctor, ना, और doctor phone करता है, they are so happy, I can't tell you. Correct? कि wow, doctor ने याद करके पूछा कि बच्चे को क्या हुआ है and how is he feeling. Correct? So those cannot be done by robots and any artificial intelligence. Yes.
And in India, like that would be like a boastful thing for the patient as well. They would tell 4 of their relatives that why a doctor called me. It's like a big thing for them.
Yes, but
that is insane.
For many of the doctors, it may not be possible because they may be seeing 100, 150 patients a day. But for us who are seeing around 20, 25, 30 patients a day, I think that makes sense. एंड ऑब्वियसली हमारे पास जो पेशेंट्स आते हैं बहुत छटके आते हैं, क्योंकि कॉर्पोरेट हॉस्पिटल है, और दूसरा सबसे बड़ी बात है, पीपल हु आर रियली इन बैड शेप कम टू सच हॉस्पिटल्स. सो दैट्स व्हाई वी नीड टू फॉलो देम अप वेरी कीनली.
Fair. But now I wanted to ask you this, that you worked in like from Gujarat, your NHL, MBBS, and then you went to AIMS, Chandigarh, Boston. You met a lot of people, all different kinds of doctors, and you have doctors in your family as well. Now, what differentiates these doctors from their peers? And you've seen a lot of your peers as well. Like where are they? Like what were they like? Like how were the people who were killing at studies in their MBBS? How are they faring at this point? And how is success determined? I really wanted to understand that.
So what separates good doctors from other doctors? That's what we were contemplating.
I mean, in a way, correct? Like good.
So maybe
you can say good physicians from great physicians, probably.
Obviously everybody who has done a course has a fair chance of succeeding, but what separates is a very important thing. And I think whatever you have done in your medical college, you have passed with good degree, brilliant degree, gold medalist. At the end of the day, you all start from scratch as a doctor in your field. Okay, right? Because most of us don't have a lot of background, and we have to start from the basics again. Okay, from this word go. Okay, so what I felt is, it's most important thing in at least our country has to be availability. Correct. Probably how humble you are. Okay. Definitely on top of it, how you communicate and what's your knowledge. Correct. And how you have built a relationship with your patient, the trust. If this 4 5 things you are doing regularly, I think no, at the end of the day you are going to be definitely a better doctor than many of others. Okay. And that requires lot
Okay.
of, again, time. That requires a lot of patience, and it requires every single day the same work, which is probably the toughest thing in the world to do. And that's what you asked me, how does that energy come from? That energy can only come from if you want to really be successful in life. Okay. And there can be different uh, like things as a success for you and me, but I believe the best success for
Fair.
you is that what your patients tell about you, or maybe how they see you, and how you treat them. Yeah, correct. You may feel that you are a very good doctor, but you may or may not be. Correct. Because it depends that,
That's
yes,
true.
that because everything now comes on the, obviously, the patient feedback. Now, है ना? It is always patient first. Even I think in all the US hospital, it is patient first. Okay. है ना? Yes. So at the end of the day, even if you're a gold medalist, or if you are a very amazing doctor, or you feel that you have done all the hard work, but probably to reach and continue at that level, these 5 things will continue to be always there. Yeah, always. Yes. There's no looking back. So I remember that, just for an example, I did probably my first marathon in 2019, full marathon. And on that day, I think we woke up at 3. We went at running 4:30. We completed in probably whatever 4.5 hours. We finished. I came back home, and I was just having my breakfast, and the call came from ICU that there is a serious patient which has come, which requires your intervention. Because at that time we didn't have a lot of probably people to look into all those things with so much detail. So I went at 12, and at that day my mom 6:30 called me that you have not had breakfast, you didn't have proper lunch. So if you want, we can come and help you, but I think you need to eat because you have done a lot of exercise today, or maybe a marathon today. So that's the commitment you need. And I think on that day I probably went back at 11 o'clock in the night, and that was a Sunday. Yeah, so most of the marathons happen on Sunday. Okay. And that is not to like something that to be proud about, because most of the doctors will be doing it, but to do it day in and day out is very difficult. Yeah, correct. So so just for putting the things for the people who are listening at your channel and perspective. So first define that what you want to do in life. First thing, that what doctor you want to become. You understand from your mentor what it will take and how much effort will it take to continue doing it, and you need to choose the place where you want to do it. So many of my friends who knew that this is going to be a tough thing, they have joined the institutes only, like All India Institutes, like PGI, where they do their research because they are oriented towards research, and they teach students because they like teaching. My part was that I want to do a private practice in Ahmedabad, or a private sector. Correct. That was my main perspective, and my main perspective was that if ever a hospital in Ahmedabad is made of pediatrics, if ever, which is like a pediatric super specialty hospital, I would keenly be want to be part of that, because I have read so much that I can help them build such kind of institutes. Okay, that was my way of looking at things, and I was very sure that this is what I want to do. In between there will always be doubts, but as you mature enough, you understand that yes, you are on the right path. Okay, so before maybe 3 4 years I used to discuss with you, it's a very difficult thing, I want to move to Middle East, because there were many of my friends who were earning like huge in Middle East. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like, what matters is, here there is a lot of help. Obviously parents are here, you can help so many people, you know so many people. So it is all what you want to decide at the end. Right? There is never going to be right path. You have to draw that path and follow that. Yes, है ना? And with time, it is only going to be difficult for young ones because there are only already a lot of seats which are of maybe post graduation, super specialty. So probably you will require a lot of group practice. You will require practice in institutes. Yeah, there will be less opportunity for doing practice alone. So I think we need to develop that team building also, because that is not these all things are not taught. Like, है ना? Yes, medical ethics, negligence, this all you have to learn by yourself. Like, or you have to put an effort to go into the classes and learn. Yes, and there are a lot of things available. Once you come out of the probably medical college after MD, you realize we have just learned the tip of the iceberg. है ना?
Yeah,
So
that is
yes,
true.
yes, है ना? But it's a very help. Like, I will put it at that, it's a happy space. If you know what you are doing and this is your line, that I am only going to do this, and I think you will be like probably in the right path, right? है ना? And it is never easy. It is going to take a lot of time. Yes. So accept that in medicine, as you told, it is your probably the age which decides that are you good enough or not many of the times. So I think it takes time. Yes. है ना? Yes. And we should respect that. In medicine, you cannot change that.
Yeah, that is true. But I think the way of communicating I really have a perspective about this, that it's not always that people with gray hair are great. Like, there can be a young doctor who is, more compassionate, who has maybe better communication skills, who is better at managing things, then he's probably
So,
doing a
so you
great job.
told what
So
is like, if you learn early how to mature enough, I think even at the age of 35 or 40, which is like the starting age or maybe the mid age for many of us, I think you can be very good at your subject. Correct. So many of our friends who are doing all those things are really good in doing what they are doing. Okay, so in a way you are right. It is, but how quickly you learn, correct? Every place there can be different things. In US it can be different. In India it can be different. In Ahmedabad it can be different. At a small district it can be different. But it makes sense. Yes, yes. You have to adapt to what is given to you. Okay. In a college, you are only learned how to treat a patient. Then afterwards, you need to develop all the other skills, that how I will do other things. Yes. Correct.
But I think that is where the extracurricular activity plays a huge
Correct.
role. Because at college, you don't only get the opportunity to learn, you get opportunity to deal with your seniors, your juniors, and it goes the same with residency. You are dealing with nurses, support
Yes.
staff, and I really love how you manage everyone, because I saw you distributing sweets to the security personnel as well, where they also know you. So that is the well-rounded approach in going to a hospital, where you are building a relationship with everyone. Even the lift man knows you, even the security person knows you, even the CEO knows you, and that is how I think, if and it comes from within. I don't think it is something
Yeah, it
that
cannot be.
people
It
can
cannot be
learn.
taught.
It
Correct.
is something which
Yes.
happens, I
Yes.
think.
Yes.
And that, I think that is a differentiating thing. And the other thing I've seen is what I noticed from you and from a lot of people, that you said that after running this marathon, I went there and I, you know, help the child in the ICU. But what is that? I see that as always you put yourself second in everything. And I think this is quote from Shah Rukh Khan as well, that he also says that his life is not his life, it is someone else's life. So I think that is the commonality of success, that if you put yourself first all the time, you are not going to do a great job. But if you start putting
Correct.
others first, that is when magic starts to happen.
So probably only thing in life when I have not been happy about is if I had to not play a football match on a Sunday morning. Otherwise, if you ever ask me to come and do work in hospital, I'll be more than happy to do it most
That
of the
is
time.
fair.
I'm not telling that I'll always do it with very high, very like always a big smile, but I'll definitely do it for whatever is required. I'll do it. Okay, so there have been days where I've stayed in hospital even after being a consultant for 3-4 days. There was a school accident, there was a bus accident where there were a lot of school kids from the Ahmedabad school, and I think first 7 days we had 9 kids, and I was there in the hospital for 4 days. I didn't go
Oh
only.
no.
Yeah, yes, not even for taking baths, not even for eating. Everything was done in the hospital itself.
That
Okay,
was like
so it
back into
requires.
residency.
Yes, so that was back in 2000, I think 18. So it requires like a lot of effort from your side that if you want to do that. So we have neurosurgeons in our hospital, we have plastic surgeons in our hospital at the age of 60, 65. Probably they are working 12, 14 hours a day, and they are few of the best doctors in Ahmedabad or in Gujarat. Correct. So you know that what is going to be your future. So it's not that you have come with a blind tape on your eye. Oh, ye kya ho gaya? No, man. If you want to be really successful, I think you have to leave everything apart. So yeah, I didn't take a break for like 7 days in 7 years. You know that, correct? Yes, I didn't travel for like maybe 7 years. Yes, just to build all this. Yes, no, it's not easy. Yes, but
That's
you have
true.
to enjoy whatever comes your way.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if you don't
Yes.
enjoy, then what's the point? I also see
Exactly. Yes.
it.
So you have to enjoy. So if you get 1 hour of playing, you should enjoy. If you get 1 hour of chit chatting, you should enjoy. Correct. And sometimes it's better that you just get a time off that, yes, I am not Dr. Ankit Mehta, I am just Ankit.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes you need a. But now I wanted to ask you that, as you said that you face difficulty in showing up with the same vigor every day. What is your approach when you are not, feeling like it, or you feel like you really want a break, you don't want to work this hard? How do you deal with that? How do you show up again and again
Correct.
with the
So
same
if you
or decreased energy, whichever energy, but you do show up? But how do you do
Correct. So if you probably go by definition of burnout, I may take all the boxes.
that? Okay.
Correct. Many of the times, maybe correct. So what brings you happiness again back is, I think, your sleep. I have now changed my sleep, which initially used to be 4 to 6 hours a day to 7 hours a day,
Okay.
because working hard in ICU takes a toll. You see a lot of good things, you see a lot of bad things, you see a lot of deaths, demise of a baby, young baby. It's never easy. So I think sleep has helped me. You already told me the importance of physical fitness, है ना? And I want to be supremely fit. There is no doubt in my mind. In whatever way, I am trying to be like fine. And third thing is what you eat. So I have probably like very important for medical residents that you should know about nutrition, है ना? And medical nutrition books are like, they are not enough. So you need to dig deep into every subject of what you are speaking, है ना? I always believe that your worth is what you speak. So as a doctor, your worth is only by the words you speak. So your medical knowledge has to be up to date. So I think nutrition plays a very important part, and family support cannot be like told enough. Like that's the supreme everything inside that. So big box is family support, and then those 3 4 things: sleep, nutrition, physical fitness. Many of the times for others it can be mental fitness or yoga, but unfortunately I have not been exposed to a lot of mental programs or fitness, and I am not like probably not very keen. We have always wanted to be physically strong, so I think that part has to also be seen, and that how you can do. So I started maybe a 7 minute meditation from last few months. So
That's it.
that's how I
That's
look
good.
at it.
Mhm.
Yes, morning, first thing in the morning, I get up and do that. Correct. And I think Sadhguru has told you the best thing. If you get up in the morning, you can see, you can move all your limbs, and your relatives and your parents and your family is alive. I think that's the biggest happiness in the world. Correct. Because many of the people don't get up next morning. Yeah. So I think we should be happy about it. There can be a lot of negativity around medicine because it's a very negative field. Because सब लोग बीमारी आएंगे आपके पास, सब लोग आपके पास बीमारी आएंगे, कोई हैप्पी होके कि नहीं आएगा कि सर मैं तो आज बहुत अच्छा हूँ. करेक्ट है ना? So once they write your feedback, that makes you happy. That's why you need to be connected to them. है ना? Yes, but because it is going to be, you have chosen a field where there will be a lot of negative emotions. So I think you need to be very positive about it.
Yeah.
है ना?
Otherwise,
Yes,
how
so
can
your maybe
you help
yes, so
someone else feel better? Yeah, that's
maybe
true.
your girlfriend, maybe you're a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a future fiance or a life partner. I think you need to choose it in a right manner. Otherwise, it can be very very difficult for you. You don't need a lot of friends. You just need maybe two three people around you, but they need to be really helpful. And that's my policy because I don't have a lot of friends even after 7 8 years being staying in Ahmedabad. But those five are enough for me to take care. Yeah, and my best friend is my mother's.
Okay.
Yes, so yes, I always share every single thing with her still at this age. Yeah, and what I've learned is repeating negative things doesn't help. So she keeps on telling me whatever negative has happened, stop thinking about it, and I think let's move forward because whatever has happened is never going to change.
Yeah.
And
That is
how
right.
you can make it better, that's the only thing. And if you have a lot of trouble, don't think much about it, sleep over it. Maybe in next 2 3 days the answer will come by itself. You don't need a reaction immediately for everything. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that
sometimes like many of the patients argue, they can be rough with you because they have their own set of problems, and we also have our set of problems. If you keep on arguing with them or answering them not in the right manner, I think that can only increase your irritation. That is not going to help you because you have to deal with 30 40 patients. There was one patient cannot determine those other 29 patients details.
yeah,
Right?
that is
Yes,
true.
because they have come with a lot of faith on you. So I think that you have to see.
Yeah.
Right?
And
Yes,
also
yes.
for us,
That
this
balance, that
that
balance has to come.
yeah, and
Yes,
also in
because
our
even
field
at
that
that's why you told at the age of 30 31 you need to be so much mature. Correct? Though those things may not be required for other people, but for us it is must.
that is true.
It is must, and nobody can check on this. There is no number in this. There is no test on this. You have to learn it on day-to-day basis.
Comes from within. But now our field is also such that if you are doing something positively for someone for a long time, and if they don't like one thing, all the things which you did good for them is lost. That
Yeah.
now, but like how do you deal with that kind of behavior with from people?
I think that's a difficult thing, but I think once in a while that is always going to happen. So I believe that like same thing happens with like you have a lot of friends around you,
Yeah.
but with age you will see that you are not able to communicate or something has happened and it has been broken. You cherish the moments you have lived with them, but you cannot continue to be sad about that. Oh man, I cannot talk to him or they have stopped talking to us. So you cherish those moments. So there will always be in medicine. That's what I told you. There is no scope of maybe the mistakes, but mistakes will happen. I hope those mistakes are not grievous enough to hurt anyone, but that's the only thing. So we have to live with it, and that's why you need to be. I have not gone out on Saturday, Sunday for years. Right? And on a weekday, forget it. Why? Because I know if I don't sleep in the night well, next day is going to be so sad and bad for everyone in the hospital and for me that I cannot take that chance. Yeah. I cannot take that chance. Right? Hana? So that much commitment, are you willing to give? If you are willing to give, then please be a doctor you want to be. Otherwise, choose the field which doesn't warrant so much of things.
That's fair. I think that is why people's choices have now evolved. Like initially,
Yes.
cardiothoracic surgery, brain neurology, neurosurgery was big. Now dermatology. People want
Correct.
more relaxed lifestyle,
Correct.
which is the
Radiology,
thing.
dermatology, maybe
Yeah,
ophthalmology. Correct.
yeah,
Those are the branches where you might not be required immediately.
yeah. At
Yes,
least the mistake is not fatal.
yes, and plus also the level of stress which is there.
Working hours are
Yes,
better. So much of
yes,
things in.
yes. But I don't think that should determine that what you want to be. First thing is where
Interest.
probably interest is the must and where you want to settle nowadays because that makes a lot of difference. Like so doing a probably a big plastic surgery and you want to go to a district place, probably is it required or not, you have to see. And yes, if you are doing a big super specialty like a movement disorder, now what you will do going to a small place. So you require that much setup and place where they can hire you and where you can help people. Okay. And there is never a dearth of patient in the world. That just remember.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't run after them, don't do any unnecessary marketing, don't do unnecessary things. Correct, they are going to come. It is a slow process. It will always be there. That is true for a lot of Indian population. Correct, we do a lot of things to bring patients. I think it's not warranted. Yes. Yes, give time. I think it will come their way.
Mhm. Yeah, I think we have covered a lot of things, but and I think we don't have the utility of this question doesn't exist. That what would you recommend for students who are going through their career now? Because we have spoke in depth about all these things, but what is something that you would like to share from your story of failures, which is very personal to you, and how did you overcome it? Like this one journey is there where you gave your exams for 3 years, you waited for it, and then you got, that is one story, but anything specific which might be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. So failures are part and parcel, and probably in intensive care it is more common, correct? Where we do a lot of hard work and we are not able to uh, probably come out of the multi-organ failure or maybe of a fatal accident. So failure teaches you a lot of things, and they are bound to happen. I think I told you now there has to be a way that was it preventable or can we learn something out of it. If yes, then it's great. If nothing, let's just move on. Okay, it is going to be there, and if you don't fail, probably you're not on the right direction. Like at least in medical field, because everybody once in a while will have a very poor exam paper. Even if you have read well, you might not perform well in Viva. Your day is bad. You're not able to remember things. Correct. That can happen to anyone. You may just blank out seeing a paper. That, oh, what happened? I'm not able to recall. That's part and parcel. I think that happened with me in anatomy, sometimes in forensic medicine. But then once you are prepared well now, that feeling never came back after second MBBS. Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
I am lagging behind. So I was ready for it always. Okay. So I never have to tell ki, okay, I didn't know gynec ops, or maybe, oh, this how this has come. And I have never learned, I have never heard of this. So that should not happen. So maybe learning from your past mistakes, correct? So people used to staple a lot of things that this is never going to come. So that never happened. So I stopped doing it because there was no IMP in my book. That much I can tell
Okay,
you. Not
really.
joking. Yes, not joking. So when there was a senior called as Kulwant Singh in my hostel, and I used to ask him every year buy a new book and go to him and tell him please mark those things. He just used to put the book back and tell me, for you there is everything is IMP. You want to crack some big exam? I'm like, yes, bully. Then there is everything is IMP for you. Really.
This
Okay.
insane
At
amount
that
of
moment
work.
he knew that was, I think in third first. Yeah. Okay, where we have PSM and ophthalmology and ENT. Correct?
I think that has changed
Yes.
now. It is PSM is in final, but initially it was like surgery, gynec.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
for us it was PSM,
Oh, really?
opthal and ENT.
Oh,
Yes. And then in final we used to have ops, gynae, orthopedic, surgery,
medicine.
medicine, all those things. Yes, yes. So there was nothing like that. है ना? So they're part and parcel of life. I think all need to move on.
That is fair.
And
But who?
failures are part of being an student. That's okay. है ना? I'll not put a lot of weightage on it. है
Yeah.
ना?
And at
Until
the end,
yes,
how much does it matter in the bigger picture? I think.
after like I told you like that, even if you have done something from a private medical college, suppose, but you are willing to be available, you are willing to be learning, you are competent enough. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter because we all start from the same line again after doing our MD or super specialty.
And especially where
Okay.
you are saying that even homeopathic doctors, Ayurvedic doctors, even they have their fair share of people coming to them.
100%. Why not? Why not? If people ask me in my OPD also that we are not getting enough results from your treatment, can we take another treatment? I have no problem. Correct. Let's discuss fairly. If you want, you can try. If there is no response, you can come back again.
Yeah.
Yes.
But who were your inspirations, Ankit, by since your MBBS to right now? Who is your inspiration? Who do you ask when you are in, like, one of them is your mother, but who else?
Right now, probably help comes from mostly from mother-in-law because she is also in the field of medical sciences for years. She is in management of a hospital, correct? So she helps me a lot, and obviously parents help me a lot, Hannah. And we discuss few things with obviously Ranu. She's my wife. So there are a lot of things which I get like inputs from, and as I told, it is a process which I am trying to do better and better and better for myself, because at the end of the day, if I am doing better myself, I think I'll be able to repercolate all those things to my patients. है ना? Yes, so my go-to things are many people, correct, and I think good friends also, which is very much required, है ना? And so please have few friends whom you can discuss a lot of things apart from medical sciences.
Yeah.
Yes, which is
That
very
is very important.
correct. Yes, है ना? Loneliness is the biggest killer, and in medical sciences, being lonely in medical college is very easy, and being left out is very easy, है ना? And it's a stressful work. And if you feel that just studying is a difficult thing, then you have not seen the world enough. Because once you come into the real clinical practice, which you must be doing right now, it is very difficult.
Yeah. Some patients are crazy. You
मतलब they are, I told you na, not there will not always be 1 plus 1 2 in medicine. There
That's
cannot be 1 plus 1 2, है ना? Yes, है ना? And I think I find the most important thing is, like, I try that sometimes in ICU somebody tells me कि this patient is not like feeling great, they are feeling that treatment is not right, they are upset. 10 out of 6 times I would try to convey all the things which you have done in a right manner. Okay. And sometimes then they understand.
yeah.
Okay. You cannot convince everyone. So it's after that you can leave it. Okay. But you should always try. Just being afraid though, okay, when you get in the shift, you have been told that this is a difficult patient or these are difficult things that they are not able to understand. I think you should go and talk to them immediately rather than leaving them. है ना? Because they might not have understood, they require a lot of other updates.
That's true. And I also think that communicating exactly with the nurses as well. Like I see that on the Sunday when I saw you one day, you were teaching the nurses how how the workflow you wanted and what was the treatment. So I think that is really crucial because at the end of the day, nurses are spending more time with the patient than we do. And if they know they
For
know,
me,
then they can do a better job. That is for sure.
in our country, they are the most underrated people. But I believe my ICU, they are my real heroes. They are the unsung heroes because they are my eyes, they are my everything. So if they can't detect anything on bedside, patient cannot be saved.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we need to respect them more. We need to teach them more, and we need to tell them that they are our like colleagues and give them certain respect, which is required, which I see many of us not doing. And let me be very frank with you: when I went to PGI, I think many of the nurses were really well trained enough to create doubt in yourself that are you right enough? Okay, she'll tell you the position, that this is the position you are putting wrong way central line, you are not intubating the patient in the right position, you have not given enough sedation. Okay, this is a patient of raised ICP, please give them enough sedation and analgesia before you do anything. Okay, so they can remind you of many things, but if they are pissed off with your attitude, they will never tell you anything.
That is
Yeah,
true.
so that's what I am telling you. Being a doctor, it requires a lot of other things.
Yeah. It is very important to establish relations. Yeah. That is what our field is about. But thank you so much, Ankit bhai. It was a pleasure to speak to you and thank you for joining us today. And I hope a lot of people from NHL they can look up to you, look at the doctors that you guys are producing, PGI people as well. So it was a great conversation. Thank you so much.